Hi, Matthew Moody here, ReformUK, former parliamentary candidate for Penrith&Solway. So it is the morning after general election, and as we now know, Labour did win a majority in the Penrith&Solway seat. I for one am obviously disappointed about that result, but I'm also heartened, and I'm heartened by the positive response and the number of people that turned out to vote for ReformUK in what has been a quite extraordinary election. When you consider that ReformUK is just 3 years old, the battle that we have had to fight to even get our voice heard, to have our policies actually debated in a manner in which we can have common sense brought back to politics, has been truly astounding. And if I look back on the campaign, it's clear to me that from the very beginning we were always going to be up against it. From the very beginning, the mainstream media, the legacy media, the blob, whatever you wish to call it, had already made up its mind that actually we weren't going to have a fair democratic process. We were going to have a changing of the guard, a change in middle management, if you wish. With the stories coming out on the very day that Rishi stood in the pouring rain and announced the general election, the papers were already saying, well, it's going to be a Labour landslide. Well, Labour are going to have a supermajority. And the thing is, if you say that enough times, enough people believe it. And then they fear that they have no other choice. Well, there was a choice in this election, and that choice was ReformUK. And millions of you came out and voted for us. And I would personally like to thank the voters in the Penrith&Solway constituency that put a cross in the box for me to represent you in Parliament, and I don't take that lightly, and I never entered into politics as a flippant gesture to join a party that's been running around making promises and breaking them for hundreds of years, and I class both the Labour and Tories in that sentence. Now, I stood for a party that believes in truth, that believes in free speech, and that believes in having common sense, grown-up discussions with people about the state of our economy. A big thanks to my small team of supporters that have helped along the way. Whether you've donated, whether you have helped to do some admin for me, whether you've helped on the leafleting and putting boards up, your support has meant everything to me, because unlike the other parties, again, we don't have massive resources to draw on, in fact none. We don't have any money really. All the money was either raised by kind donations from volunteers or from myself. I've effectively given up work, for want of a better word, for the last 5 weeks and dedicated myself to spreading the message of reform across the Penrith&Solway constituency, because I fundamentally believe in a better Britain. And unfortunately, a better Britain is not what we're going to get with a Labour government. But it is what it is, and the people have spoken, rightly or wrongly. I think some of the lessons from this election to learn going into the next election is that with 4 million votes cast for ReformUK across the country and 4 MPs, and Lib Dems with 3.4 million votes, and I believe about 50 odd MPs, I don't know the exact number, that has to be some kind of joke. It's a bitter joke, and it's a joke that really isn't that funny at all, but it just shows the depravity of our current electoral system, which is broken, as is most of Britain. So, on a positive note, I look forward to continuing working with my supporters across the Penrith&Solway constituency. I look forward to continuing the work that we've started, because let me tell you, ReformUK, banging through all of the noise, getting through the mainstream media bias, getting through the complete lack of election coverage, and I mean complete lack, biasing us at every stage in the equation. We've done really well, and I'm very, very proud of that. And it is now time to start looking at what is next for ReformUK and how we build up our base in all of the wards and all of the constituencies around the UK to come back fighting better for Britain, because this is what it's all about at the end of the day. Myself and the other candidates that joined ReformUK joined for one reason and one reason only: to make Britain great again. And sadly, I fear that we're about to go into 5 years possibly of a Labour government where essentially the electorate voted for higher taxation, for higher immigration, for more public services, money being spent, and showing no improvement whatsoever on processes, systems or efficiencies to even further break Britain. And that's a sad day. But as I said, the electorate has spoken. I accept the vote that was cast, and my intent now is to take a day or two off, reflect on what we could do better next time, and come back fighting fit, ready to go again. So, Matthew Moody, former parliamentary candidate for Penrith&Solway for the ReformUK party, saying thank you for your support, have a great day, have a great summer, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.